Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Welcome to the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 49, coming to you from the desolate wastelands of Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're recording on June 30th. 30th? Okay.
I forgot to change one thing.
And I'm your host, Elric Edge. With me is...
your co-host, Bill, the Saurus Guard.
Man, I don't know how we're going to get through a whole episode today. There's really been, nothing that's come out.
No, there's some stuff for New Dawn.
Is there?
Yeah, I showed you earlier.
Oh, the journal, that sweet journal.
Yeah, but we got to save that for New Dawn.
Oh,
let's not break the fourth wall here.
Yeah, this is the big one, folks.
Yeah, it is. Big.
AOS 2.0 finally
in the hot little hands.
Out there for everybody. Good time. So, yeah, I mean, that's obviously going to be a big topic. We'll talk a little bit about our hype for our Colorado Clan Carnage, which is next weekend. Our 1.0 send-off.
Bye.
Yep. And that's pretty much it. I mean, just 2.0 goodness.
Yep. Just to remind everybody, we are going to do the Patreon draw for our Rolling Bad 50th episode contest next time we record.
On episode 50?
Yep, on episode 50, we'll do the first draw for Patreons, and then the next episode we'll draw for everybody else. I think I might have misstated that last podcast. I think I might have said we were going to do it this show and then the next show, but we're doing the first draw on the 50th episode. Yeah. And the way that's going to work is we have two big prizes. We have a unopened copy of Space Hulk and an unopened copy of Warhammer Silver Tower. So the first drawing on episode 50 will be for our Patreon subscribers. We will draw one of them, and they will choose what prize they want to win. We will ship it off to them. And then on the very next show, we're going to take draws from everyone else who has left us a review on iTunes. We'll get you 2 votes. A like of our Facebook page will get you 1 vote. And if you tweet the hashtag RB50TH or RB50th, you'll get a vote for that as well. And that's how you get votes, and that's how you'll get to win a prize. And we may actually also add a third prize to that, but we're not sure yet. That's how the prizes are going to work. In an unannounced drawing, and we couldn't say anything about this before because we were given something from our amazingly awesome local Games Workshop store manager, but we got a set of the giveaway sprues for the Stormcast Eternals.
The Sequitors, right?
These are Sequitors, I believe, yes. There's 3 of them. It's the push fit ones that you get in the box that came out today. So we have the full sprue here, and it's sort of the collector's edition, if you will, because it's not split up, broken into the 2 halves and shoved in a box. It's just sitting out here on its own. So today, when we finish up the show or during one of the breaks, we're going to pick from the people who have liked our Facebook page, and we're going to hand that out and send it to them.
Sounds good. And
then also next episode, we're going to give away an I Read AOS book. A very special I Read AOS book.
Yep.
You want to say what it is?
Oh, yeah. It's a signed copy of the Iron Dragon, the Quadrant Overlords novel.
Yes.
That just came out.
Or
not just came out. It's been out for a little bit.
Yeah, it's been out for a bit.
So, picked up that at Adepticon.
Nice. Also want to throw a quick shout out to our new Patreon subscribers, and I want to send an apology to Tim Miller, because you signed up for Patreon over a month ago, and I didn't shout you out because I put some names onto our agenda and I put the wrong name in. So you've been supporting us for a while and we haven't shouted you out, so I apologize. Thank you, sir. Also want our newest subscribers, Patreons, are Jeremy Dunham, Tyler Emerson. I've heard of that guy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Sean Feather, Neil Curtis, and Brian Orban.
Heard of that guy as well.
I've heard of him. Oh. Yeah. He does something with, some little show they do out in the East Coast. They have like I think a 10, 20-man tournament or something out there.
Yeah.
Once a year. It's weird. Yeah, but Brian is involved with Nova Open, so. But other than that, I don't think we have anything for the intro. We should head right into New Dawn, where we only have a couple little things.
Yeah. Should be quick.
All right.
The Realm of the New Dawn.
Where we're going to talk about the couple of things that got released today. The, of course, big news has to be that the Age of Sigmar Ruled Journal came out today. That was available in the Games Workshop store. Sweet 192-page book with lines on it where you can write stuff. That's amazing. It's just, they're just knocking it out of the park with these new releases, really, I think. So, other than that, that was the only other thing that I saw, wasn't it? Oh, no, there was a copy of Soul Wars. I did pick up a copy of the book, Josh Reynolds' book, Soul Wars.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, are we ready to move on? Okay. All right.
No, actually, this the journal is pretty cool, man. Every time I see these things, man, I want to pick one up. I need to pick one up so I can write show notes and stuff in it.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Keep track of everything.
Yeah.
I like the runes etched
Embedded
into it. Everything
yeah.
is really cool.
Yeah, good dry brush will bring those right out.
Wow. Okay,
so for reals,
Soul Wars 2.0, General's Handbook, Malign Sorcery, all the gadgets and gadgets, dice,
who's its and whatnots, and
yeah. Holy cow!
It's open. I mean, it's like Christmas in June.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
What do you think of it all? Now that we finally got our hands, I mean, we had the Sequitur sprues for the last few weeks now, so kind of got a taste of what's to be coming.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think of?
I am at once overwhelmed and at the same time underwhelmed.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Well, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but there has been so much coverage and you knew exactly what was coming, that there was this lack of, oh my God, did you see this? It's everyone's seen it. It's
already out there.
Yeah. But it's to have it in your hot little hands is now it's a pure joy as far as I'm concerned.
I have to say that these models are flipping ridiculous. Like the level of detail so I was talking to this one of the local store owners out here last night about it, and he was pointing out, you look at these, what's the Night Haunt guys that have the big scythe, two-handed scythe out in front of them. It's going to take a while to get used to all
these new names. I can't even, the Gloom Wraiths or Grim Wraiths.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, if you look at them, they've started to get away from like the clear flight stand type things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Models that are flying, instead of just having them like, we'll kind of simulate them launching themselves into the air by having to glue this big model onto the base using like one hoove and hoping it holds. Instead, it's not just a connection to the base as one piece, but it's almost like a support beam. Plastic rod has been integrated into the piece that's coming up, holding it all together. So it looks flimsy, but it's not.
Right.
Like it's a solid chunk of plastic holding this thing aloft in the air to make it, this action pose, but you're not going to break. Well, I mean, you could break it. It is just plastic, but still, like,
you can do it.
It's not give it a hard stare and you snapped it off at the hoof or something like that. So yeah, just the design. And I got to say, building, the death stuff lately, the Morghasts, which are an absolute nightmare. Fantastic models when they're put together,
beautiful
on the table and stuff, but they suck.
To have that rib cage and that the skull inside split into so many parts that glue together in the weirdest ways.
And then spirit hosts are a nightmare to put together as well.
A little.
To see, because those came out just a few years ago during the end times, and that was like when we really saw these beautiful in-depth models, but they weren't quite there with the assembly side.
Yeah.
And now the models are even more detailed and they've like hit their stride with assembly. And this stuff, I mean, most of this stuff, not just what's in the starter box, but what's additionally coming out for Night Haunt and Stormcast, a lot of it is push fit, which is incredible. It
opens up the hobby to so many people.
Exactly.
It's, you can deny it all you want, but they're aiming this at the youngsters. They're aiming this at people a lot younger than us. And if you're 15 and listening to this, it's not even really aimed at you, but mostly it is.
Well, it says 12 and up on the box, and I think my 12-year-old could.
Oh, heck yeah.
If she could put her phone down long enough,
Well,
could
that's
probably
part of
assemble this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it made me think back, when I was I was a little older than that when I first got into it, trying to put together like the Dark Eldar out of the 3rd edition.
Oh my God.
40K box. It's like, holy cow, man, this is awful. Or metal models.
Oh,
you remember trying to put together metal
those
models?
Great days of
when you're.
Oh my God.
I mean, you were old when the game came out, so
yeah.
and now you're just that much older.
I'm just dead.
But
what you trying to say, man?
Yeah. Like when I got into it, and I was young. You didn't really have access to things like pen vices for metal models and doing all that kind of stuff. So you're basically just slathering super glue on it and hoping it held together. And so if somebody glared at your dreadnought wrong, it just fell to pieces.
Came apart, yeah.
And you had to reglue it every time.
Yeah.
Or if you dropped it, or those metal plastic hybrids. The old Land Raider Crusader.
That was a sick time.
Oh my God. Let's not go back there. So this is an absolute treat where we're at now. It's so.
What's
so
scary
amazing.
is you see Privateer Press is just now getting to that point of doing plastics poorly, and it's just so sad to see where some other companies are in relation to GW. So I'm not trying to dog Privateer; they make great looking models, but. Oh, boy.
Yeah, a lot of people are still lagging behind on the assembly side.
Oh, yeah.
GW's just got it really streamlined.
Well, I think they must have hired someone to not design models, but to take the designed model in the CAD program and pull it apart into something that could be made on a sprue, but go together incredibly easy. Because if you notice, even in these kits, the way they go together, they pretty much hide their own join lines. Yeah. There's always something that either snaps over the top or there's an overhang on one end of it that kind of hides where it goes together. So you don't have those huge gaps and you don't have to be getting out the bottle of green stuff or the roll of green stuff and mixing it for the next week, putting these models together. It's amazing. The comic gets made a lot of times when new editions come out about how we're living in a golden age. But really, right now, I think we really are. This is a great time to be a hobbyist and a gamer.
Definitely. So
from the top, you want to do it from the top?
However you want to do it. However you want to sink our teeth into it.
You have the Soul Wars box set.
Yeah.
Which is the new starter set, which has the beautiful core rule book in it.
Absolutely.
So I got the digital edition last night, and I was just sitting there, and almost every time I flipped a page, I was making a screenshot of the page because the art is just so gorgeous. It
really is. I mean,
this is the book we should have always had. And you say that a lot. We had to go through AOS 1.0 to get here, but it's just, and it's a 300 and some odd page book with a majority of it. The first 220 pages are lore and, dare I say, fluff. But it's worth it. It covers everything that's happened in the Age of Sigmar, and it does go back into the realm of myth, the Age of Myth and all that, to catch you up to where we are now. But those sections are actually worth a read because they've worked in little, I don't want to say changes, but extras into the stories that kind of show how some of the different factions and some of the different peoples got to where we are now. So I know most people will look at this book and look at the cool art and then flip right to the role sections at page 220. But give the rest of the book a look through it. They put a lot of effort into this. It's amazing.
Definitely.
And the rules section of the book is pretty darned amazing. You have the open play section first. Then you have narrative play, and then, of course, you have, the match play stuff and the core rules. And be careful reading through this stuff because a lot of things that were separated out before are now in the core rules. A lot of people are screaming about, the rules of one are gone. All the rules of one are gone. No, they're in the core rules now, which mean those rules of one now apply to narrative games and open play games. If you want them to. I mean, you can always agree not to. But they knocked it out of the park. And we say that a lot because we're fanboys, but we're also kind of known for calling them out when they do silly things. But there's nothing silly in this box. Nothing.
No, jeez. Just getting caught up in
He's just sitting here reading the
looking at
book
the
right now
artwork
and looking at me
again.
like, keep talking, I'm reading.
Yeah. God, so...
Yeah, you
it
talk
would've
for a
been-
while so I can read.
It would have been nice to have this for first edition. I mean, that we did get a big book when the game came out, and it had some good artwork and everything in it, but it was just, I mean, Age of Sigmar was in such a weird...
It was a weird place.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really firmly grounded. Now, in this book where you have the realms being discussed and the realms actually being fleshed out and how they affect the game and how they work, it's huge, the difference between this and the last release. And somebody was asking the other day on one of the WhatsApps about why such a big hyped release for 2.0. I thought it was just going to be changes to the General's Handbook and we were never going to go through an edition change again. And one of the things I wondered aloud was I wonder if this 2.0 release is sort of a admission that the 1.0 release wasn't maybe as smooth as it could have been. It wasn't as... Well, it wasn't good. I mean, I think we can all admit the 1.0 release with nothing but open play and no points and no ability to have a match play game, or a competitive game. They missed the mark on that a little bit. And I think this is admitting that we may have done this wrong. So this, I think, release, the reason it is so amazing, and when you look at what you get for the price, you're getting your money's worth out of all this stuff. So...
Well, I think we saw a really interesting thing with first edition. I guess we can just call it that now. Is you basically saw this crazy evolution of a game over 3 years.
Yeah.
It dropped. They thought for some reason that people weren't really interested in like a lot of structure and points, and that really we just wanted this like world to do whatever we wanted in. In a lot of ways, they just gave us too much freedom.
Yeah, they said, here's the sandbox, just go play.
Yeah, and it's like, well, we need a little bit of sand in there first.
Yeah, exactly. We want...
So, and then to see them play catch up with it, and then to see the army books evolve, from just being like, you go back and look at like the first Stormcast book, the Fire Slayers, Ever Chosen. I mean, there was
Seraphon book.
There's a whole thing for the Dreadfort or whatever it was.
Yeah, there's a whole Dreadhold book.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. They were just trying to find their footing, and then you get like the Sylvaneth, and it felt like, oh, okay,
now we're getting
and then
somewhere.
the General's Handbook drops, and it's like, all right, and then they evolved more to, they got kind of like to the Quadrant Overlords, and then you really start to see it with what essentially became, we had that big drought of nothing after the KO released. And then it was like, I think that was when they finally realized... That was the
rethinking process.
I think we know the direction we want to go with this game. And because we've done this thing with open narrative and match, we can continue forward on this path and still make a game that caters to anybody that wants to play it. And so this is just the way we'll go forward. Let's do kind of like a soft reset, and here we go. And so... I think it's pretty solid.
It's amazing, really. When you look at, they gave us the briefest of tastes with the Legion of Nagash coming out with the Malign Portents book, saying, here's a whole new series of things that you can do, and we're ready to plumb that depth. We will go these places. So you kind of had an idea of where AOS 2.0 was going to go, but we have the game now that we always wanted. And yes, there's going to be hiccups along the way. I mean, we were at breakfast this morning talking about some of the things that we could look at right now and go, oh my God, that's crazy. But again, they're going to FAQ it. And I don't think the FAQ is going to come out in 2 weeks. I think they're going to sit back and let a lot of stuff come in, a lot of reports come in, and really hard look at these things, and then fix the craziness. Because there's some things that are a little weird between the facts that just got released.
Yeah.
And then the new General's Handbook and the new core rule book. And there's some things that are pretty much in direct competition with each other, things that contradict each other. And, there's just some things that, there's combinations out there that, if a chucklehead like me can figure it out, obviously some of the good players have already been there and,
Yeah.
But yeah, the core Soul Wars box is amazing. As a starter set, you couldn't ask for anything better. You really couldn't.
Yeah, I thought Dark Imperium was pretty good. The difference here is I found the Dark Imperium models to kind of be tedious to assemble because the mold lines and stuff where they were just
Yeah.
didn't make sense. In fact, it was kind of like the first edition
Yeah.
Stormcast.
Stormcast
and
with
whatnot.
the split in the shoulder.
Yeah, it's just like, what? I don't understand why they decided to do this. Whereas this set, these models look better than anything they've done before, and they're all push fit. Like, I don't think you need a drop of glue to put this whole box together. I mean, I'll use glue, but...
Yeah, in the videos they show them using glue, but really you don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing.
Okay, so I mean we can sit there and talk about the Soul Wars box, but there's 1,000 videos and podcasts that already have done it. It's beautiful, it's amazing. Go get you one. It's very cool. So next up we have General's Handbook 2018. And again, wowza. Because you have to take the General's Handbook in concert with the new core rulebook. Because obviously the General's Handbook is nothing but updates and changes and clarifications and the rules for match play
That have been updated.
that have been updated since
it
it
got updated
dropped.
before the book officially dropped.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So, oops. Yeah.
Sorry I did not deepkin.
Yeah. We didn't mean what we...
Yeah. Oh, well.
So, but again, the beauty of a living rule set means you can do that stuff. But yeah, the General's Handbook, and I know we were making comments before about it seems a little lighter on some sections, like last year's had a lot more on different open play and narrative play and different ways to play. Whereas this one is pretty much dominated by the match play rules and the realm rules and all that stuff. Well, again, a lot of the things that you are used to seeing in the General's Handbook have been moved to the core rules. So keep in mind that the General's Handbook is kind of morphing into that once a year, here's the updated play numbers that you need, and we'll move on from there. So I think it's a really, it's a beautiful book. The cover's gorgeous. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention about the covers of these books. All 3 covers are gorgeous.
Yeah, even my wife was surprised
Yeah.
when she saw this stuff.
Yeah. The main rule book is stupendous. So I'm just really, I'm over the moon about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Wait till I start tearing it down here. No.
I did notice a typo, though. For Kharadron Overlords, it says the Arcanaut Ironclad is 420 points. I thought it was supposed to be, significantly cheaper. Maybe 300.
That's significant. It was what, 425?
Yeah.
They used the same motif as they have in the past. There's a little asterisk by anything that has changed.
Yeah.
And if you look through those pitched battle profiles, almost everything has changed, with the exception of the books that just came out that were designed with 2.0 in mind. Almost everything out there changed. So a lot of things have gone down, but a lot of the things that we have thought all along were a little game altering have gone up. So it's definitely a resource to check out. Make sure you get one of these. And it has the new war scrolls for all the scenery stuff in there, which is very important because all the scenery rules changed. And how you interact with scenery and terrain on the table. That chart itself changed in a big way. Mystical terrain will no longer cause you to lose successive turns. Most of the terrain effects have gone from 3 inches to 1 inch, and some terrain is now considered an obstacle, so they will block line of sight. So if you're behind a Citadel Wood, remember we sat there and went on that rant not too long ago about shooting through 600 wood stands, and it has no effect? Well, now the first one blocks your shot. So
yeah.
I would say
Citadel Woods, make sure you read that war scroll.
Well, and when you think about it, it's also going to... The people that would abuse woods the most, the Sylvaneth, they use them to travel. Well, now they have to be a little more stingy with them because everywhere you put a wood, you can't shoot. So, just again, really good changes to the game with a very simple mechanic of allowing scenery to block line of sight. There's also garrison terrain where you can get in there and you can actually occupy it.
Yeah.
And once you occupy it, the other guy is they have to root you out of it. And you can kind of control that because you not only get cover, but you get a -1 to be hit. Yeah, you watch that garrison terrain stuff. That's pretty important. So, General's Handbook, I think gets 2 Nurgly appendages up, maybe?
Yeah. So I had a slight issue with it, and I don't want this to come off too harsh. But I picked the stuff up last night at midnight, my local store. Let me get my grubby mitts on it.
Yay!
And, I went home and opened the stuff, looked through it. And so I was kind of tired. And I understand, like, the format has changed and everything like that. But I'm not sure I like the new format between the core book and the General's Handbook. But I'm wondering if that's just because when I looked at it, I was kind of tired. And I just need to sit down and read through all the pages again and everything and see. Because the last thing I would hate to have somebody at the table constantly flipping through this great big book and the General's Handbook and their Army book, trying to find a rule or something like that. But hopefully it was just, tired brain, wasn't quite up to snuff to take this stuff in. So
yeah,
I'll probably talk about it on the next episode when I've had a chance. Plus,
to digest it, yeah.
Yeah, and again, we have Clan Carnage a week away, which is a 1.0.
We can't really devote a lot of time to this.
Yeah, I don't know how much I really want to sit down and absorb all of 2.0 and then to go play a 1.0 tournament in another week. So, yeah, I'll touch on this again, kind of make a mental note of the format for next episode to see if maybe the way they did it actually does make more sense the way it was. And I'm just not picking that up.
I think the biggest thing to do now is to make sure that you read the core rule book, or, the rules section of it, not the whole thing, starting with the page 220, I guess it is, or something, and go through that first, because, like I said, so much of the General's Handbook stuff that was used to be spelled out in that is now in the core rules. And then flip over to the General's Handbook and see where it is. Because I know a lot of stuff is out of the General's Handbook that used to, things that used to be there are no longer there.
Yeah.
So that could be throwing you for a loop because it's actually they're in the core rules now.
Actually, I will touch on something that I wasn't a big fan of is, and this doesn't have to do with this stuff. It's the FAQs that dropped.
Oh my gosh.
So, well, I'm not going to complain about like decisions that were made or whatever. It is what it is. But when you go and look at all the different FAQs, you can go to all the different books. They have erratas, and then they have designer commentaries.
Yeah, designer commentaries.
Which are essentially more FAQ, but it's not with the FAQ. I don't understand why. Why wouldn't you just put it all as one?
I don't know that either because it's driving me in fits because I like to print all those out.
Yeah.
But now, for a lot of the factions, you have an errata document and a designer notes document, which you need both because the designer notes answers a lot of questions.
Right.
So
I thought it was just kind of weird that
why they split them up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was easier formatting-wise for them to do it that way.
Maybe.
It may be, just a production decision. The person that was putting these things up on the website didn't want to combine all the PDFs.
Maybe.
Because it got tedious. I literally do not know, but it is a weird decision on their part.
Yeah.
So yeah, General Handbook, I give it to Nurgly Appendages up because you have to have it to play.
Well, yeah.
Competitively. And then we come to Malign. Well, actually, let me talk about the General's Handbook Warlord Edition, which I picked up.
Did you love so much you bought 2 of?
Yeah, well, that was because I was stupid.
Oh, boy. I kind of want to see what's in this bad boy.
Yeah, I know, and I just kind of briefly opened it, but just to get the book out. But inside this cool thing, you get a deck of cards, which these, I believe, are the open war cards. Nope, these are twists. Oh, yeah, these are sudden deaths. Yep, these are cards for all of the open play deployments and, basically the open war deck. And then they have the aerial battles cards in there for the aerial battle ways to play. The 2 little counter dial things, which are a dial for turn number for player 1 and player 2, and victory points for player 1 and player 2.
Okay.
So those are something they started with the last Warlord edition of the General's Handbook. So yeah, you get another deck of cards for the narrative play format stuff that's out there in the General's Handbook. So basically with the Warlord edition, you're going to get cool cards for everything that's in the General's Handbook that you would normally have to roll a die for. You also get the large format cards, a whole set of them for all the scenarios. All the battle plans have their own separate card, and those are super handy. I love using those. So they have all the, just the battle plan info, and it's handy to have right there at the table instead of making photocopies. And then you have the counter sheet, which gives you objective markers, Star Strike markers, and then the typical Battleshock command point markers, and 2 9-inch rulers, because 9-inch rulers are huge in this game.
Yep.
So the Warlord Edition is definitely kind of cool. I think it's cool. I like it. And I have 2. Because I don't know how to order when I order online.
Oh, Bill.
I know. I saw it only long after I purchased it. So then, of course, the other 600-pound gorilla in the room is Malign Sorcery. I heard something about that. There's spells in that or something?
There's a couple.
Is there spells? So it's just for magic users, right? It's just for, like, Tzeentch, right?
Yeah. And death.
Oh, yeah, death. They use magic.
Death. So this thing is probably what I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Because I'm really hyped for, like, narrative style stuff. That doesn't mean you can't use this stuff in match play. There's points for all of these spells to be able to use them in match play. The curious thing, though, is whether or not all these additional spells, because there's spells for all the realms. There's artifacts for all the realms. There's reward things for them. There's so much in here for all this different stuff. So whether or not that will actually be used at events, it's yet to be determined.
I can see the biggest sticking point for competitive events is going to be this Malign Sorcery. There is just so much. I think it will be used eventually. I think it will become commonplace. But I think in the very beginning, it might be a little harder to take for some people, for some TOs to just go, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, because some of these, you could probably come up with some bananas level combinations. I've already seen some using some artifacts and whatnot that are like, oh, what now? So, but I'm very excited to sink my teeth in. I want to read through all this. It's got a ton of really cool scenarios in here.
Oh, yeah.
There's the skirmish thing on how to do this stuff. It has a pretty easy guide on how to paint all the different spells, the endless spells. So, it's not going to look quite like their heavy metal ones, but you can still make them look really good.
You can make them
pretty quickly.
Well, one of the things I'm looking forward to the most is seeing what some of the really top-notch guys, the Vince Ventrellas, Sam Lenses, those guys do with these models.
Yeah. I do have to say, though, like looking at the artwork compared to the models, I think something got lost in translation.
You're mad about the Palisades.
Yeah, this prismatic palisade, man. There's a dragon at the bottom, and he is tiny. And then the model's like an inch and a half tall. Something.
It's representative.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the endless spells are going to add a whole new dimension to the game. They're cracking good. I think it's going to be one, like you said, one of the most fun parts of the new system is going to be those.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to just try out all of this new stuff.
It's just going to be, I almost want to put training wheels on and do one new thing each time rather than just jump in with both feet, and want to jump in and,
Yeah. That's how I am right now. I just want to play this.
What's that old test they do with the cookie and the 5-year-old to tell if you'll be a success in life? So.
Oh, yeah.
I would be the guy eating the cookie. So, no, screw it. I don't want the payoff. I want the cookie. So, that's the 3 big major things that came out. Also on the release was the objective markers for the game, which, they did them for 40K. They made some very thematic plastic objective markers that you can make look amazing. Well, same thing for Age of Sigmar. There is a set of 7 absolutely amazing objective markers.
Yep.
That are just gonna, they just add flavor and, cinematicness? Cinematography? They just look really cool on the table. And they're thematical. And then, of course, with any release, you're going to get all of the silly stuff released. You have the new wound counters.
I like those.
These are very nice, and they will knock over probably less because of the design. They're not just the normal D10 anymore.
Yeah.
That, a stiff breeze will cause it to roll over. These have a lot larger flat spot. You have command and status dice, which they did for 40K, and I've never seen anyone using them.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling this might be the same thing, but I got a set because it came with the one click. You know me, I need markers to tell me, move this unit, head.
I mean, is that the justification we're going to use for you buying literally everything that comes out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You need it.
I need these. I need all
Insert reason here.
Accessories. Yeah, I can rationalize anything. I'm a Republican.
God. Games Workshop, you could shrink wrap. I don't know. What's something that is absolutely useless?
If you listen to the Legends of the Painty Men, their second episode, he goes off on the other guy. I think John goes off for a little while about him buying the Citadel sand for $11.50 for a cup of sand that you could go to any beach, any construction site, hell, outside in New Mexico, and, I don't know, pay $0 for. But yes, I buy Citadel sand because I just want that extra oomph, because that sand is better.
It is.
It's culled from the finest sand in the world with, what did he say? Some emperor's foot most likely went over it at one point.
Probably.
So,
I mean, if it's from the English Channel.
So yes, you're right. Games Workshop could probably bag up the remains of the men's room on a Friday and
shrink wrap it. It's got to be shrink wrap.
It's got to be shrink wrap.
And Bill.
I would probably
and then do a collector's edition version of it.
The minute you put Warlord or Collector's Edition, you know I'm doing the one click.
Limited.
Yeah. I'm on it. So yes, we have a new Age of Sigmar combat gauge, which, thank God I bought the old one, the original one, because this one looks a lot flimsier. It's certainly not pure Sigmar. It might be an alloy, but...
You think so?
Yeah, it's not nearly as thick. Did you see how thin that was?
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Mine's thick. I mean, mine you have to have a chain around your neck to hold it.
Bill, nobody believes you how thick it is.
I'm trying to justify it. Just stop.
Nobody wants to hear a guy talk about how thick it is. Jeez. Go ask your wife right now. How big is Bill's combat gauge? It's only 3 inches.
Yeah, at its longest.
Half an inch wide at the tip. Anyways.
The problem is really none of that has to come out.
Yeah.
None of that was vulgar. Okay, anyway, and then last but not least, their own version of the Ben Curry TM scenery dice. But these scenery dice use the same symbology as in the rule book.
Yeah.
Are therefore better. So
I like them.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
I do.
How much were they?
The scenery dice, I think, were 20.
Ooh.
I think. Don't quote me on the price, please.
They were a little cheaper. They could be on par with.
Yeah, and again, the Ben Curry dice are what, 10 for.
Oh, jeez, I don't remember. We bought a huge.
We
did
bought
a deal
big lot
a couple of years ago for
for
like
clubs
club
and what have you.
So that's how we got all ours.
And they achieve the exact same effect since they didn't change the terrain names; they just changed the effects.
Right.
So all in all, that's the 2.0 release, right? I think that's everything.
Well, we got some.
There were some push-foot kits.
Yeah, so there was 2 for Night Haunt and 2 for the Stormcast. I picked up the Night Haunt ones. There's the Banshee Myrmidons or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then some more of the Hex, Glyph, Grim. I don't know. I'm going to have to take a time to sit down with the Night Haunt.
It's just like Khorne. Either put Hex or Gloom in the front and Wraith or Ghast at the back, and you probably have a model.
So yeah, I got to learn the Night Haunt names. I'm going to sit down with the book and, next week when the book comes out.
Yeah.
Because the hits just keep rolling.
Which is a great segue into our what's on the horizon.
Yeah.
Which is this week's pre-orders are, oh my God, Stormcast. And oh my God, Night Haunt.
But not even all of it is up yet, so we're still going to get more.
Yeah, of both.
After it. But the good thing is, I love it when they do the books first.
Yes.
Put out those books first so people can sink their teeth into them, especially that Stormcast. There's a lot of... Looks like a lot of changes. They did a Stormcast game on the stream. They're doing the 24-hour stream right now. And
Terry Pike was playing Vince. Ventrella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it looks like there's a lot of changes.
Yes.
In the Stormcast book. So.
Yes, they're sure. And I'll say it right now. Liberators are dead. So,
God.
Sorry, I just triggered Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah. He's probably screaming as he's driving right now. You can take them in units of 30.
But yeah, so there's a bunch of new units dropped. And of course, with every book drop, there's the associated dice and cards and all the other things. But yeah, the Stormcast new book is out, which invalidates all the old books. And then the Night Haunt book, which is going to set, well, at least Scott Reed will be super happy.
Yeah.
And you will be happy, and I will be happy. And
Yep.
yeah, definitely, like you said, the hits keep coming.
Honestly, all it does is hype me for Destruction more.
I know.
Because remember, this time last year, we were talking about how Death really needed
some
a
big
big
leg
some
up.
attentions, and wow.
And they're getting it. So
Yeah.
it only speaks well for the future, and a big. So
Can we just, in just a moment, and this is not meant to be sarcastic or anything like that, or a dig at Stormcast players, but a part of it feels kind of bad, man. 4 books in 3 years.
yeah,
It's a little pricey.
Yeah,
You
just a
dropping
little.
that kind of money on a new book.
and the fact that with every release comes new models that are pretty damned amazing, and you can build an army around. So there's a lot of people that have spent a ton of money on new Stormcast.
Yeah.
Over and over.
The models aren't such a big deal because you can still use all the models. It's not like they invalidated any of that.
Right.
But you're now going to have 3 Stormcast books on your shelf that are just there for the pictures.
Yeah, pretty
'Cause
much
another
just for,
one
the,
just came
for the
out.
cool graphics. Yeah.
And there's still like 3 or 4 more chambers to open, 5 more chambers, however many chambers they want.
And if you bought any of the collector's editions.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that hurts the old... That hurts in the feels place.
Don't you have some of those, Bill?
Yeah, just a couple.
Oh, no.
But like I said, earlier, the reason why you buy 2 of these things is so that you can leave one in the shrink wrap. And when we're looking at AOS 5.0 and I can pull out my, General's Handbook 2018 Warlord Edition still in shrink wrap,
Right.
that is instant street cred.
Is it, though?
It is.
You are just the
It
coolest
is
nerd.
totally. Yeah. You gotta be. You gotta be ready to be team
All those
nerd.
new AOS 5.0 players will call you an old head.
Oh yeah, they'll be, look at the neck beard.
Yeah. Actually, you buy 3 copies. You buy 2 copies of the Warlord and then 1 regular. You leave 1 Warlord in the shrink wrap,
Okay.
never to be looked at.
That's right.
And then you open 1 to just kind of
Look at it.
squeal over, and then you actually play with the regular edition.
Oh, that's good. I gotta run to the store. Hang on, I'll be back.
$600 of rule books later.
Yeah, you know it.
And we're
You
still
know
not going to get a game in.
Yeah, we've got everything. We
Yep.
still don't play. One other thing about the new releases for Night Haunt and Stormcast is they each come out with their own endless spells
Oh, yeah.
for the faction endless spells, which are pretty darned amazing. Both of them have amazing.
Some strong
endless
abilities,
spells.
but I got to tell you that Stormcast Comet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god,
Yes.
that is strong. That is a very strong one. And the Hourglass for
Yes, for
the
Night Haunts is
really good. I like those ones.
Yeah,
a lot.
it seems like every faction, or at least the 2 that we know of so far, are getting a kind of a signature spell. So, endless spell.
3 of them.
Well, yeah, but there's one in there that is clearly better than the others. All of them are useful, but
Yeah.
these are just clearly a little bit head and shoulders above the others. And of course, that Lady Olander, the Mortarch of Grief.
That is a woman that has issues.
She does issues, or is she just normal but dead? I'm sorry. I did not mean that.
It's too late.
Can I walk that back?
Nope.
Can I? Oh, come on, I'm a Republican.
Branded for
I can
life.
walk it back. Well, that was fake news. So, anyway.
Yeah, she dumps mortal wounds like crazy.
Yeah, she fills kind of a spot that some of the other Mortarchs really didn't fill. They each have the thing that they do, and they will each be good in their chosen venue. But I think she's going to be the all-comers. You want to die? Okay, come with me. Or look at me. Or one more thing I wanted to do in New Dawn.
Okay.
You're gonna yell at me.
Okay.
But after our last show, which was last week, I picked up Inquisitor Martyr on the PC. And yeah, okay. I don't like action RPG games. I really think they're a poor excuse for an in-between thumb twiddler and an RPG that you couldn't quite bring to the table because you weren't good enough. Yeah, Inquisitor Martyr, go get it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is such a blast.
Can't wait.
A little repetitive, but it's not. I haven't gotten bored with it yet. And it's so much fun. And if you're into the Warhammer 40K universe, the things that are being said and the background comments that the chaos things that you're killing are saying, they're priceless. It is absolutely priceless. Whenever you hear somebody coming across the Vox and ending all of their statements with "the Emperor protects," you're just like, okay, I'm digging it. It's a very good game. They just did an update the other day, which fixed a couple of niggling issues. I still have an issue with the camera, but I think that's just because I'm old and set in my ways. I wish they had a setting where you could have the camera just follow you, rather than you having to swing the camera around all the time to get behind you. But the way the camera is set up right now, it makes it very handy to, when you're surrounded by enemies, to click on them and make them go to where the Emperor says they should go. So, yeah. So I pretty much quit everything else in my life except getting ready for CCC and Inquisitor Martyr.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to come out on console.
Yeah, we're going to have a blast when that happens.
Yeah, here in a couple of weeks.
A few weeks should be, yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm hoping. Anyway, let's wrap up New Dawn, because, I mean, we could go on and on and on for hours. But...
well, so another game got announced.
Oh, how stupid. Sorry.
Do you know which one?
Yeah.
Which one?
Bring it in. Come on. Do not collect 500 souls.
Oh, well, yeah, I wasn't even going to talk about that one.
Oh, okay.
So, along the video game line, the first Age of Sigmar video game has been announced.
Okay, you got me on that one. I didn't know.
Oh, really?
No.
So, I don't want to go into... I started reading the article, and it mentioned collectible cards.
Oh.
And I was just like, really? We're going to do this? Like, we're going to go down the Gwent Hearthstone thing? I'm just...
Let's have microtransactions.
I don't think that's what the game is, though.
I hope.
So I don't want to say too much on it until I actually do a little more research. But yes, on a positive note, though, the first Age of Sigmar, official Age of Sigmar video game has been announced.
There we go.
They've been saying they're going to do. So hopefully it's not just a Hearthstone knockoff, and it's really cool. Which I think Ryan said it was something more akin to Freeblade,
okay.
which was the
Imperial Knight.
Yeah, the Imperial Knight game on mobile, which is actually a pretty cool game.
It's pretty good.
And then we also got Warhammer 40K Monopoly.
Only a win. Can only be a win.
You think so?
Well, because really, how many times have you had that rousing game of Monopoly with friends and it ends so well, everyone's just the best of friends by the end of a Monopoly game? Because it really does bring out the
best
camaraderie in people.
Yeah.
And combining that with, either your love or hatred for the Emperor, this can only be a good mix.
I think this is actually probably what started the Horus Heresy. It was a game of
Monopoly between Horus and the Emperor.
Yeah, some of the other brothers. Yeah, Horus got screwed on Boardwalk and Park Place.
Oh, sure. He probably landed on it, and he had just bought one of the railroads, and he was like, oh, come on.
It's all over with the crying.
So
yeah, whatever. I mean, I'll probably pick it up because
I think even GW was a little tongue-in-cheek about even the announcement of that license, because even in their blurb, it was like, do not pass go, do not collect 500 souls.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they know what it's all about. But yeah, I'll probably pick it up just to have it. Because
I'm okay with them getting that IP out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Random stuff.
It's funny.
If you don't like it, don't buy it.
That's right.
No
whatever. One forced you. Are we done? No.
I think so. That's a lot. I mean, yeah, we're back to a 1 hour New Dawn. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, it's AOS 2.0, and we barely scratched the surface of these boxes. I mean, there's 100 YouTube videos showing openings from every angle and every level of detail. So just hit YouTube, hit Soul Wars and you'll see 100 different box openings if you aren't opening the box yourself today.
Exactly.
So let's move on.
The realm of Crabattle. Let's do Crabattle again.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about hobby, gaming, etc.
Yes.
I can't remember what I talked about last week. I just talked about how it's all been a blur.
You finished up your KO last
finished up the KO. Those are finally in the mail. Off to Frank. And then I built some orcs, 40k orcs, trying to get the orcs finished so I can also send those off so that I can focus 100% on death. All the death. And that is all I've been doing. And now with the potential, well, we're going to do it, but just trying to find out where we're going to do it for the Rolling Bad Rumble, you're going to have to start doing terrain.
Yeah.
Terrain like a madman. So,
yeah.
We're
going to have like a weekend terrain building.
We're going to have like a month-long terrain. Thing.
Actually true.
So that has been my creation. Obviously, I've not played a game. Don't think I'll get another game in until we go up to Clan Carnage, unfortunately.
Yep. I actually don't want to play a game until we go up there. I don't want to have the 2.0 rules in my head.
Yeah. And
then have to switch gears again and then switch back and then switch. No. I can do this one more time.
There you go. Once more for the old gipper. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. It's it's weird. Like, I'm excited to play, but not excited to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with all this new stuff, I want to try it, but we have to play 1.0 everything one more time.
Yeah.
So, which is cool.
Technically 5 more times, but
that's true. Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, it got no bad part to that, but
no. But you have an army to get ready for Clan Carnage have been a hobbying madman when you're not killing heretics in the name of the Emperor.
That's right. Yes. So for my creation, I created a character, an Inquisitor Martyr.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually created 3 characters, which is really okay. See, I am going to devolve into this. Yeah. Who goes off the rails? Yeah.
Let's do it in lore.
Okay.
Let's do it in lore. Do a little video game review.
There we go.
In lore.
So I finished up the 3rd Great Unclean one. I just have to get all 3 of them based now because I want their bases to be. So I held off on basing any of them until I base them all at the same time.
Are you going to do that really wild, vibrant green stuff?
The super vibrant green, and then tone it down a little bit if it needs it because I want to use the base to kind of set them off. So, but I need, I've got twigs and sticks and leaves and stuff that are going to be on the ground and some Nurgle's rot pools all around them and what have you. So
nice. Very nice.
I did 2 10-man units of Plague Bearers. I finished off the Plague Drones and I did the 3 stands of Nurglings, which actually came out better than I thought they were going to. They're a little darker than I wanted them to be, but I like the way they came out.
Yeah.
They're going to look really nice with some Nurgle's rot on them. Did I show them to you?
No.
Oh,
I've not seen them or the Plague Bearers. Well, these are very shiny.
Well, I want them to look
these
wet.
Are very shiny.
I wanted them to look wet and gooey and, slimy.
Yeah, that quite mucusy.
Yeah, that's what I'm after. So,
okay.
They're actually going to get another gloss coat
Jeez.
to make them stand out from the crowd. Because I think between that and the Nurgle's rot, they'll just have that Nurgly look.
Okay.
So, and we have Clan Carnage starts less than a week. So, I've got to get everything based and finished off and magnetized so that I can take them up there and should be ready to go.
Yeah.
So, it's a good thing.
And then how quickly are you going to shelve the Nurgle after that?
Nurgle? Oh, no, I play Seraphon. Sorry, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a Seraphon guy.
That's what I'm saying. Very curious to see how quickly this Nurgle goes away, only to be replaced with Dreams.
I've actually had a lot of fun playing Nurgle.
Yeah,
it's really been
really cool.
Yeah, and I can see, from the sorcery or the summoning tables that I need to make. I need to make another unit of Plague Bearers, at least 10 or 20 more, and I need to get the beasts ready to go. And, there's just quite a few things that I need to work on in order to have, I think, an army that could get through a whole game with the summoning rules. So.
Okay. Your Fekmaz ready to go?
Feculent Narwhal. Actually, the Feculent Narwhals are being painted by my wife.
Oh, okay.
She was looking at those going, I could do those.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, that should be interesting to see what her take on it is.
Yeah.
So, continuing from last week's show, want to have one little tip or... See, again, I want to call it just the tip, but everybody uses that. So our tip of the episode is a product that comes from France. What this is it is a book, and it is written by Jérémy Bonamont Thibault.
You pronounced way too many consonants for that to actually be French.
I butchered his name.
Okay.
But it is a book called Figopedia. And if you go to figopedia.com or just search for Figopedia, his site will come up, and he has a lot of products for sale. He has, DVDs, and he has a lot of different painting and hobby type items for sale. But one of the main things is this book is something that he did. It was originally a Kickstarter, and now he's got it up for just regular sale. And what this is there's so many books out there about color and light and paint theory. And this is that same kind of a book. Except he applies all of the techniques not to an oil painting on a canvas, but to actual figures that we would use. So whenever he's showing something about zenithal highlighting or how to do light on a painting, he's showing it on a miniature so that you don't have to try to grasp the concept from a different medium and then bring it over to our miniatures. He's already doing that. And he does everything from light theory and why zenithal highlighting is good and why it works, and then how to do it with great pictures. But he also goes into the color theory, the idea of what works together. I mean, everybody knows how a color wheel works, but the difference between...
I think most people know what a color wheel is.
Okay, you're right.
I don't think I mean I've seen it kind of explained. I still don't quite understand the intricacies of a color wheel.
And see, that to me is the hardest part, is getting that idea of translating from the color wheel to actually on the model to make it look right, and how you go up a tone and down a tone and up a shade and down a shade, and what you use for a highlight on a certain color. And why black and white are terrible colors to highlight. All these things he covers in here and shows you different palettes, different groups of colors, and how they would all work together to make a great looking model. So, one of the things he works on is an orc. Well, this is a goblin, it's a toad orlock. But it's basically an orc. And you can see how his interplay and how he uses colors you don't normally think you would put on a green orc to make that orc pop. So this is a fantastic book. It's 35 euros, so it's a little pricey. When you turn that into real money, it's like $42 or something. Oh, come on, euros? Really? I'm kidding. It's 35 euros, but he pays for shipping. So
that's cool.
Just flipping through the book, you'll pick up tips and ideas. And it's really great. The first section is all about color theory and how it applies to miniatures and highlighting and light and shadow and how it applies to miniatures. And like I said, there's lots of books that will teach you art and they will teach you all these things. The problem is it shows you usually on a medium that we're not using. This guy shows you all that stuff to get you grounded in how it works on miniatures. And one of the things he does a whole section on how to take a step back from your miniature and look at it critically on your own to see if you've done anything crazy. And it's really cool because one of the things he tells you to do is turn your miniature upside down. And yeah, after you during the painting process, turn it upside down and just look at it as if it was a figure. And if you don't see the shadows where the shadows would be on top now, you've probably approached it from the wrong angle. You've probably if you see brightness at the bottom, you've probably hit the light idea wrong. But I mean, you have to read the whole section to see what he's getting at and what you're looking for when you flip the model upside down. And a lot of times, we're painting and we flip things around, we turn them at different angles, but you are concentrating on that one tiny little part. He's saying, no, really, step back from the miniature, turn it upside down, and take a hard look. And if there's really glaring errors, you'll see them when you do that, and you'll be able to fix it before you take a picture and show it to your friends, and they all go, oh, that's really not good.
Yeah. So that a work in progress shot?
Yeah. So are you done?
No.
No? Oh, you're done? Oh, my. Oh, my.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I highly recommend that book, Figopedia. Very, very cool. Jeremy is a great teacher, great writer. You can buy it in French, German, English, Spanish. So, whatever your language of choice is, chances are he's got it.
Nice.
So that's what I got. I think that's it for Kerbattle, other than on the road again.
Yeah, I mean, this is calm before the storm.
Yeah.
We're going to have... Episode 50 is going to be...
a monster.
Yeah. It's going to be dangerously large.
We're going to answer the questions we couldn't answer about AOS 2.0 before. We're going to have the recap of Clan Carnage.
Yeah.
We're going to have all the festivities surrounding our 50th episode. So, yeah.
On that note, I guess we forgot to say that we're over 2 years old.
That's right. We forgot last week was our anniversary 2-year recording. Yeah. So,
well, 2 years, Bill.
That's right.
Been doing this.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had a friend for 2 years, so that's really weird.
Wait, what are you saying?
Well, yeah, okay. So, yeah, we've been at this for a while now. We're getting to be like grognards and stuff.
Almost.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Still have not accomplished what the main goal of what the show was. To show that there's a gaming group in the Southwest and grow an event here.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Baby steps, man. Baby steps.
Yeah, I don't know why nobody wants to come to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
I don't either. You cannot beat this weather.
I know. It's perfect. Nice balmy 102, 103 degrees. Dry heat, though.
It's a dry heat. Yeah, it's not like you think. Yeah. You step in the shade and you drop 15, 20 degrees.
Yeah. So. You know, and if you fly out here, you won't have your car here to get stolen.
That's right.
It's not a bad, and it's not like you come out here and enroll your kids in the schools of the 50th worst state in education when you're playing in an
we're
event.
Just asking you to come out for a game. We don't want you to educate your kids.
Please come to New Mexico.
Because when you get in here, the collective IQ will go up 2 points.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I kid because I care.
Yeah, you have to laugh, otherwise you cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Land of enchantment.
One thing I've never been able to understand is New Mexico, we are 49th or 50th or 48th in almost every category as far as states go. Education, crime and punishment, all crime and corrections, all these things. And yet we're number 6 in quality of life. So we have all these issues, but we have this just amazing ability to look beyond it and go, this really is a great place to live.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, without turning this into a
we shouldn't do
socio-economic thing.
You're just pointing to Los Alamos and going, they skew the curve.
Well, it's not just Los Alamos. I mean, we got the labs here in town and, Intel and, the White Sands and...
Yeah, White Sands Missile
Range. A lot of people here with doctorates and stuff like that kind of do a weird number on statistics for New Mexico.
They sure do.
What do we have, like the third highest number of doctorates per capita or something like that
in the country.
So,
and we're only beaten by states that beat our population by, dribbles. So,
yeah. And
California doesn't even come close.
The general income is like 49th or something like that. Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, there's that wild income gap. So, yeah. There's a whole bunch of people that make $38,000, and then there's the people that make $164,000. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
It's like we're either battling Mississippi on one end of the spectrum or like Connecticut on the other.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, well.
But it's a great place for a 3-day tournament. Trust me.
Yeah.
So
beautiful out here.
And you hardly
great
ever
food.
Get robbed.
Actually, fantastic food.
Best food.
Cannot beat the
anywhere.
Food.
I've lived all over this country, and I've never enjoyed just the average plate of food here is better than most places.
Yeah.
So
come out here, spend a couple days.
Are we like going Chamber of Commerce and
stuff
creation?
Your face? Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was the whole idea of this damn podcast was to promote
get people
out here.
Okay. And so we're going to have an event.
Yes.
And there's going to be great food.
It'll be fantastic food.
And you'll love it.
Yeah.
Unless you drive here.
Don't drive.
I mean, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. We'll have somebody watching.
Let us come pick you up at the airport in our Mad Max vehicles.
we have real chain rasp hordes.
Really.
and they will protect you.
Don't worry, ours are painted red. They go a little bit faster than everyone else's.
I love it.
Yeah, you won't get eaten. You'll be
I
all right.
love it. Oh, one other thing we wanted to mention in the Realm of Battle was the BCP app was updated to encompass or allow for team tournaments, which is really a big deal because if you haven't used the BCP app to run a tournament, you're doing way too much work.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Separate your mind from the ITC. BCP app is something different. Yes, ITC runs under the BCP app, but the two are separate. BCP is for any tournament organizer anywhere to run an event with the click of, a phone button.
Yeah.
The press of a screen. It's amazing what it does now, and it's only getting better. Those guys are so tuned into what needs to happen to make tournaments run well. And they're not in the pockets of ITC. They don't. So you can separate the two of them.
Although I will point out that if you look at the BCP app on the icon, if you look in the eye of that pirate, you can see the Illuminati symbol. I don't know. They should probably do a better job of covering that up.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, God. Okay. Where's my hat? My tinfoil hat?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on to lore, which is actually going to be short this time because we've covered a lot of ground already. Are we ready for lore?
Let's just end the podcast right here.
Okay.
And then we'll leave the listeners hanging. And they'll be like, oh, wait, but we didn't get a full episode. And then when we roll around with episode 50, it's just like, oh my God, these guys won't shut up.
Yeah.
There's too much rolling bad. Feast or famine, baby.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Yeah, no, I'm good with it.
Okay,
yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
The Realm of Lore.
Where we're going to kind of wrap things up on this episode because we did, just about an hour on New Dawn. So we're just going to cover some of our thoughts and feelings going forward with the new edition. And at the end, we are going to give away that sprue of Stormcast Eternal new models, which will be fun. And we're just going to talk about some things going forward. So, but I think we're going to start off with some of the highlights we're looking at for the second edition. And I know we kind of did a little bit something like this last show, but those were listener questions. And we will probably, like I said, we're going to delve more as we go forward. We're going to delve into, we'll probably dedicate a portion of each episode to each one of the realms and how those rules will affect the games. Because they've really baked those realm rules into the main kind of core. They really want you to pick a realm that your battle is happening in. Yeah. Because they affect everything. They affect the endless spells. They affect terrain. They have they have tables for each one of the realms. And as you're going through the book, and we're assuming that you have these books or you're going to get them soon. But when you look through those realm tables, you get a command ability for gaming, having your game in that realm. You get I believe there's a spell for each realm too, isn't there?
There's a spell table.
Yeah, a spell table for each realm. And then there's effects that you roll on at the beginning of the game, and you might get nothing happens. Or you might get, at the beginning of every hero phase, roll for each of your units, and on X, they take 1d3 mortal wounds, because this realm is mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's weapons and then artifacts for each
realm.
2 tables for each realm as well.
Yeah, so, they've just expanded this thing so much. We sat there and, I don't want to say bitched, but we really did bitch about, we didn't know anything about the realms. You gave us all this open play. You told us to go have fun in the realms and play your games. Yeah. But we didn't know what they even looked like.
Yeah, like we were saying, a sandbox with no sand.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, we'd love to, but how? Yeah. And now that how has been answered in a big, big way. And, if you're playing tournament-style games, the realms are just going to be a thing, and you're just going to go, okay, I have these bonuses, I have these pluses and these minuses, bah. But if you're playing narrative and open games, you're gonna roll that stuff into the story you're telling in that scenario. And I know we keep going all over the place. We are like meandering bad today, but that's the fun of a new edition.
Right.
The narrative portion of the book has so many great ways to approach the game, from the aerial battles to, they have a how to do the quest for Galmaraz, how to recreate the story from the old edition of getting the hammer back, how to redo it in this new edition. I think the way they originally envisioned it going down, but I don't think the rules and the system was there back then.
Yeah, they even have the skirmish rules for Malign Sorcery, how you can incorporate these crazy spells into a skirmish game, which I'm super excited about because I very much enjoy skirmish.
We don't really play that much, but we should. We probably should go more into playing some of those skirmish games because you can knock those out pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely. And then I believe there's also rules in here. I haven't seen them. Like I said, really sunk my teeth into. I mean, looking at essentially three rule books in front of me.
Yeah.
But rules on how to do games that are significantly larger than our 2,000 point games and how to streamline those. So excited about that stuff as well.
Yeah. One of the things that really flipped me last night was looking at the siege rules in the narrative section.
God.
And
I forgot about that too.
Yeah, they kind of dance around a little bit. They don't tell you have to go out and buy a dreadhold or something because, they're not going to say that. So they tell you to use at least 5 terrain pieces, and that makes up your fort, your cool little cardboard fort that you made for your plastic army men. But I'm looking at those rules going, if you put that dreadhold out there and you use the rules for the dreadhold and you use those siege tables and rules, you can have a narrative game that will be just crazy fun. And literally, you could probably turn that into an entire campaign so easily. It hurts. So
yeah. Okay. Here. Yeah. The Gathering of Might.
Yeah.
Are the rules for massive games.
Battles.
So legendary artifacts, legendary spells.
Yes.
Good times. And there's actual battle plans for them.
Yes. I think they were talking about that on the stream the other day where they were talking about, like one spell taking off, 30, 40 models just because
let's read let's see. We'll read Destruction. Yeah. Primal Onslaught.
Yay.
Destruction Wizards know this legendary spell. Primal Onslaught has a casting value of 10. If successfully cast, pick a friendly unit that is wholly within 18 inches of the caster, invisible to them. In each combat phase until your next hero phase, that unit can fight twice.
Oh boy.
In addition, if the unit is a monster, then until your next hero phase, reroll hit rolls of 1 for that unit's melee weapons. Yeah, I'm down to have a Maw Crusher fight twice, or a Stonehorn.
I'm just looking at, since you're playing a large game, what about a unit of 30 brutes?
Oh, yeah.
With 5 attacks each, striking twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could get off the hook really fast.
Good times.
But again, you're playing those monster big games.
Yeah,
you expect things to be pulled off the table and fast.
Yep.
Otherwise, it just becomes boring.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, there's just so many different ways to approach this game now. Whereas before, we kind of had to shoehorn things in to make it play the way you wanted it to. Now, a lot of this stuff is right there in the rule book. How do you do this? And, they've been harping on this on the Warhammer community, the videos, that they really have tried to give you a toolbox. And you can pick and choose the tools you want to put into your game. If that was their intention, from our limited experience of, 6, 8, 10, 12 hours of having it, I think they've hit it. I think they really have
definitely
nailed it.
We're going to do a pretty in-depth talk about it in episode 50 when we've had time to allow ourselves to read it. Because again, we got a 1.0 tournament in a week. We don't really want to throw ourselves off too hard on that. And we haven't really been playing much lately, so it'd be very easy to confuse some stuff. But I think probably what I want to do at the very least is read more of the narrative and open play sides of it, because the match play is going to be covered to death.
Oh yeah,
we'll answer. When we had the listener questions from last episode, and there was a lot of them we didn't really want to touch on because we didn't have
the knowledge.
Yeah, so. We'll talk about that. As far as like the armies we have, where we see them going, as well as like armies that are perceived to be at the top of the meta, coming up or armies that were at the top beforehand where we see them kind of shaking out, things like that, when we really had a chance to digest not just the Malign Sorcery level of magic, but just magic in general mixed with summoning. Does it really look like magic will be kind of the deciding factor of games or whatever? I know that's a prevailing thought at the moment, now that shooting is a little more balanced, I guess. I don't know the word I want to use. It's certainly been modified significantly.
It has been modified.
So your other ranged attack is generally going to be magic. And I know I definitely want to get Scott on here to talk about his thoughts on running this stuff on a major event, because we're going to have the Las Vegas Open coming up. He and I are going to be doing that, and he's ultimately the guy that makes the calls on what happens at the Age of Sigmar events there. So it'd be fun to sit down once he's had time to also sit down and really digest this stuff as well, to pick his brain about how he feels on some of this stuff. So
we could potentially get Chuck Moore on here to talk about what he's going to do for Nova.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to say anything because I think what I've heard is from the chat, and I don't want to put it out there, but Chuck's going to approach this in interesting fashion, and we should probably get him on as well to talk about what's going to happen for Nova and how it's going to work. And again, probably like to get Aaron and Brian Orban on to talk about how the Nova narrative is going to run, because obviously this new edition changes everything. Yeah. So.
And we say Adepticon too, but Alex has his own show.
Well, yeah, he has
to talk about all that stuff. So.
And he just might. He just might. Yeah, no, he won't.
No,
no, he won't. He's too smart for that.
Yeah,
he doesn't like to let the cat out of the bag. So that's an interesting. It's kind of weird how we have those 3 major events in the country, and there's like 3 very different approaches to how they run. So it's really it's
good though. I like that.
Well, yeah, it's not like, oh, I'm going to the cookie cutter event. Oh, I'm going to LVO Adepticon style. No, these are flavored events that take on the characteristics that the event is known for. And each one of them are top notch. Yeah. So, yeah, we have kind of an embarrassment of riches in that direction.
It's too bad it's such a pain to get around.
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
I know. I wish we had the size of the UK, but the diversity that we have, in regions and areas. Yeah. But it's kind of hard to shove everybody into New Jersey and say, be different.
Well, as soon as Elon Musk gets his tunnel thing figured out.
Oh, yeah. That'll be great.
Right?
Yeah.
Just get a little pillbox and with my army and blasted to Chicago and a vacuum tube. And
then I go next. And
be there in like 20 minutes.
Of course, my eyes have been pulled out of my skull, but hey,
really,
we're still working the bugs out of the system. So.
I had about 3,000 pounds of force shoved onto my already delicate spine. It's all right.
We'll be great. Don't worry.
Deny science long enough, it won't affect you.
That's right. That's correct.
But yeah, I mean, this lore section is kind of a meandering thing.
Yeah.
We don't really want to. We're in a weird spot.
We are in
Clan Carnage is throwing everything off.
It really is. We have a 1.0 tournament next week where everyone's going to be busting out to 2.0. Yeah. We're going to be going, woohoo! I'm measuring my model. Yeah. I'm not measuring no damn bases, baby.
Yep.
Oh, did you see the other thing too? The FAQ for the bases was issued and then almost immediately FAQ'd itself.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those base sizes were really? Yeah. It's true in the core rule book for this edition, they talk about base to base is now the rule rather than a suggested house rule.
Right.
It's the way you do
3
things.
Years later.
Yeah. Well, and that's okay. I mean, I think they're finally getting up to the idea of if you're playing this game, you've probably gone away from square bases. If you haven't
committed yet, you're not serious.
You're not here,
game, and we're not gonna.
Yeah,
we're not gonna slow this whole train down
for you.
Anticipate you jumping your fat ass on. Let's just move along with people who are serious.
But that original document was.
Well, Brad touched on this on Twitter. I think he something effective like, can we all just agree to wait like a week before we lose our minds on the app and these FAQs and stuff?
Yeah,
and we just,
come on.
and a week from now when they've had a chance to get the app. Because apparently the app is it's not an update. it is like a
It's
complete
a new
rework.
Yes.
Of the app is going to be completely different.
And it has a whole different look and feel, and the War Scrolls are just better. But there's a lot of it still needs work here and there. Yeah. But it's still
the thing that has me excited is they made the comment of once they get this done, this new app and updated, because there's some bizarre stuff in there, and they're very much aware. They've addressed it many times on Twitter. They're going to fix it. One of the things they said that with this new firmware or whatever you want to call it for this, it means that updating the app later on will be much easier. Because right now it is it's a pain in the ass. Every time like a new book comes out, you basically have to delete the entire app. Re-download it and then re-download all the War Scrolls, and hopefully they won't do the weird smushed thing where it looks like streaks. You can't actually read anything. Yeah. So, and not to be too hard on it, it's free. Right.
That's
the
right.
app is free, so it's not like you can be like,
Can't be
damn you, Games Workshop, you took my no monies. But hopefully this new format will allow us to be able to just keep rolling with it. That's awesome. Yeah, everybody just, by the time this episode actually drops, hopefully
most of this should be
the vast majority of the kinks will be ironed out. So.
Yeah, that was something we didn't hit on in New Dawn. But the new app is significantly better, I think. I haven't looked at War Scroll Builder. I don't know if they've gotten that updated.
I know Tony's been working his ass off trying to get it all.
And I know he's been there physically because they keep talking about during the Twitch TV stream, hey, there's Tony. So he's there. So I don't know if he's gotten it updated, but I would just say, again, make sure you give him some time.
Yeah.
There's going to be bugs. I mean, one of the entries in the book says one of the creatures, I forgot what it is, like the Wu Gen clan thing. I don't know whatever it is.
Ain't nothing to... Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, Wu Gen.
Yeah.
Wu Gen.
But it hits on a 44 plus.
Oh,
on a D6.
yeah.
So, that's been making the rounds.
I know the Grunstock Thunderers are like just an amalgamation of every modification that's happened to them. Yeah. Kind of a weird...
I think actually what they're getting at is they all just exploded. All their heads just went.
Yeah.
So don't use them ever.
Yeah.
So
Tyranids have invaded the skies of the mortal realms and eaten all the Karajan overlords. They're gone.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Oh, tough break.
This is what we need. We need a melding of 40K and we know what's out there. Kaldor Drago has visited the mortal realms.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just bring everybody else. The hell?
I mean, what
Bolter
could possibly go wrong?
Nothing. You equate a bolter to a bow, and you just work out the ranges.
Because you know what Stormcast need? Land Raiders.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh my God, can you imagine that chamber opens up?
Clinkety,
clinkety, clinkety.
Land Raider riding a lightning bolt 9 inches away from your opponent to dump out a bunch of paladins.
Land Raider Crusader.
Finally made paladins good, right?
Yeah.
They can come out of an assault vehicle with frag grenade launchers.
Sweet.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway, that's bad speculation. So
I think we're good, Bill.
Yeah, I think we have to end this before we meander anymore.
Let's give something away.
But we did say we were going to give away a sprue of the new Stormcast.
Castigators.
Which, again, and I want to throw a big time... Sequitors. I believe they're Sequitors. I want to throw a big time shout out to our local Warhammer store manager. He has been incredibly supportive of both this cast and the community. The guy is just doing everything he can to make sure all of this stuff works. Excellent ambassador for the hobby. They couldn't have picked a better guy unless it was me to run the store. I didn't apply, so I didn't.
I did, damn it.
You did. And I think it should have been you.
Yeah, well.
Because then I would have gotten an employee discount. But
wait, what? Yeah, it's almost like they anticipated.
Yeah, they probably knew. But no, he has been just incredible for the community and the area and helping us out with, anything that he can help us out with, he does. He's hooking us up. So big shout out to the Games Workshop retail store here in Rio Rancho. Anders is the store manager. I hope I can say his name. Otherwise, maybe he's going to get fired next week. I don't know. Hope not.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate, wouldn't it?
That would be bad. Yeah.
Get a letter from...
Yeah.
Ugh. Whoops.
Well, no, he's never, given us stuff. But he's hooked us up with the giveaways that Games Workshop does give away, so...
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do now. So...
Pass on the love.
So, again, as we said at the top of the show, this is kind of a quick contest. So what we did was we took all the people that as of the beginning of this episode had liked our Facebook page and put that into random.org, pulled up a number, and we have a winner. So Devin Gardner, if you are out there, get a hold of us at all of our contact information with, the contact information that we put at the end of the show, and let us know, and we will get this Stormcast sprue off to you, you lucky winner, you. And that's that. And of course, our next episode will be a week after Clan Carnage. It'll be our 50th episode. And we'll do the first part of our giveaways, our big contest giveaways. And we'll also be covering a lot of AOS 2.0 with a lot more knowledge. And we will start our series on digging into 2.0 and how the changes are going to really affect everyone and everything going on in the realms. We'll actually be able to get back to real AOS coverage.
Yeah.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
Okay, we should be done.
Are we done? Is this the end? Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to end it? Like, if the listeners were listening to this, what's the last thing they'd probably hear?
That. If you would like to get a hold of us, you can reach us at our email address, which is rollingbadpodcast@gmail.com. We have a Twitter account for the podcast, and it is @rolling_bad. We also have a Facebook page, so just search Facebook for Rolling Bad. We have a Patreon page, and that is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. You can reach us at our individual Twitter accounts. Elric is at Elric Edge, and I am at Bill Costello, Castello. All of our guest hosts and any other products or places that we mentioned during the show will have their addresses listed in the show notes.
And now for something completely different.
Are you
chewing.
eating?
Shut up.
Are you eating while we're doing a podcast?
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to keep going with that.
Have you not listened to years of Y-Tech trying to get away with that crap?
I thought I could do it.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry.
That is some rookie level stuff there.
I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. That'll go in the blooper reel.
Yeah.
You dirty double-crossing rat!
Well, I know that's weird, but... Because I thought only white flags came from France.
Oh. In baguettes.
In baguettes. Croissant?
Oh, croissant.
Yes, well, that's the sort of blinkered Philistine pig ignorance I've come to expect from you non-creative garbage.
As a percentage of models, it's actually quite cheap. I'm sorry.
That's not. Stay on target.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to shoot you. Right over.
Can you feel both sides of your face right now, Bill? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good deal.